Ralph Engelstad Arena is the greatest rink in the country, professional or college.
When you talk about a building like this, it attracts people, and it attracts the right people.
I see people kind of being blown away by the venue.
This is one of the nicest rinks in the entire world, and it's here with a population of 60,000 people.
It does have like an NHL feel to it. You fit in almost 12,000 people a night, and that's certainly unique. Usually in college you're getting around the 5,000, 6,000 seat buildings, and this is double that.
To be able to play in here every single day, practicing, game days, all that stuff, I mean, it's unbelievable, and we're just very humbled to have this place.
Now entering its 20th season as the home of North Dakota Hockey, Ralph Engelstad Arena is famous for its impressive scope, its elaborate details, and its consistently electric game day atmosphere. But the arena as we've come to know it wouldn't exist without the vision of the man whose name it bears. Ralph Engelstad grew up in Thief River Falls, Minnesota, and was a goaltender for UND in the late 1940s. He made his fortune in construction, first in the Midwest and then in Las Vegas, but his focus never strayed too far from Grand Forks and the college team he'd played for.
You know what, if his family members were sitting here today, they would tell you that he was extremely driven, extremely entrepreneurial, and that he absolutely loved the UND hockey program.
In the 1980s, Engelstad helped fund the refurbishment of UND's Winter Sports Center, a 6,000-seat facility that had housed the men's hockey program since 1972. The building was renamed in Ralph's honor, and its reputation became the stuff of legend.
It was a very loud building, had a low ceiling, it had kind of a tinny tone to it.
Jerry Kvitt, the old ticket manager, he would just keep selling general admission seats. And the fire marshals would go crazy because people were sitting in the aisles and everywhere else. But he wasn't going to stop.
The massive crowds, the student section right there over the top of the ice, kind of that low glass. It was just a real feisty, blue-collar type of arena, the old Ralph.
Scott Sandlin slides left with it now, feeds Klotz, top of the circle, shooting, he scores!
As great as the old Ralph was, the desire for a more modern facility began to grow as the years passed, and Engelstad once again took it upon himself to make it happen.
It started with, obviously Ralph going, how can we help to get North Dakota where it needs to go as far as keeping the success it has and sustaining that from year to year.
He said that he wanted to build the greatest college hockey rink in the country.
Dean Blaze and Gino Gasparini, Earl Strendon, Tom Clifford, they got together and they put together a wish list. And part of that was, Dean Blaze, along with that whole crew, going from venue to venue, going out to all the newer venues at that time and getting ideas. They physically went out to places and got the best of ideas from each and every one of those facilities, and they did their due diligence.
He originally wanted 15,000 seats. And everybody told him, Ralph, you don't build a church for Easter. And so he said, how about 10? And he said, boy, that's still too many. You're not going to fill that very often. How many years has it been that it's filled every single game, just about? So he had a vision that way.
Construction on Ralph's grand vision began with an eye towards completion for the start of the 2001 hockey season, and as time passed, interest began to peak.
People were coming from all over the state just to see what the building was like.
You saw as it was being built, people coming by and walking through and taking tours and watching as it got put together.
We were bringing recruits in a half-constructed building, and they were still in awe.
You could see a schematic drawing of it, but never had you envisioned what it was when you finally walked into it when it was finished.
18 months after the first shovels were in the ground, the project was completed with time to spare at a cost of $104 million. The building's inaugural game took place on October 5th, 2001, pitting North Dakota against arch-rival Minnesota, with the Engelstad family at the center of it all.
May this arena produce the best team in the nation as it has been, and may this logo and the Fighting Sioux logo stand forever. Thank you.
Opening night with a crowd here, unbelievable.
That first game, it was jammed. from the start. So even in warm-ups, you had this massive crowd. You could just feel the excitement in the air. And then obviously we're playing the Gophers, so that was one of our rivals and a team I wanted to beat really bad.
I gotta be honest with you, you think Minnesota's nervous coming in here? We were nervous. First time in front of a huge crowd, a situation where you're playing against your biggest rival. There was a lot of nerves.
Mazurek a drive, and he scores! Hauser thought he had it, and it somehow got by him.
North Dakota would ultimately lose the opener, but they wouldn't drop many in their new rink in the months and years to follow, even with inspired efforts from the visiting opposition.
There's a lot of those teams that come in here. We'll show them. You got your beautiful barn.
Anybody that comes here to play against us, it's going to be their best game. I mean, this is like their Stanley Cup, their chance to play in front of 12,000 people. So it really brings our game to another level.
Starting with Coach Blaze and then Hackstall and then Coach Barry, they ingrain in this program that, hey, just because you're in this beautiful setting and beautiful rink and everything else, you better earn it.
That mindset has pushed North Dakota's men's hockey program to great heights since the REA opened in 2001. In the last 20 years, the team has won 7 conference championships, reached 8 Frozen Fours, and in 2016 captured an 8th national title. Unrivaled success that's been aided by a home ice advantage which continues to improve and evolve.
The thing that impresses me the most is that it's never gotten outdated.
It's 20 years old, and each and every year we try to get better at trying to improve things from year to year. That's a big deal. That shows care.
Our plan on an annual basis is to try and update the venue and to try and stay ahead of the curve. We're always on the look for the latest and greatest improvements and upgrades to the fan experience and for our student athletes and coaches. So we'll continue to do all of those that make sense.
20 years in, the REA looks as good and in many ways better than it did when it first opened. And as for the future of this palace on the prairie, Ralph had a vision for that too.
Mr. Engelstad and the others believed that this building had the opportunity or the potential to be a 100-year building. And I think we've survived the first 20 pretty well, and hopefully we're on our way to another 80 successful years.
And joined now by Alex Heinert. And this place it's like no other arena, especially around this part of the country. And you've walked in there 100 times covering UND hockey. What's the feel? You still kind of look around and go, this is pretty cool?
Yeah, it never gets old. I mean, you just get goosebumps still walking into the place,
right?
Especially for the first time at the start of the season when you've not been in there for a couple of months. Dave did an unbelievable job building it in the first place, but to keep it up, keep it on the cutting edge, it's incredible the job that Jody Hodgson and that group have done at the REA.
The seats and the amenities, it's just everything all comes together, right?
Yeah, you just tick it down the list. It is just top of the line from the bathrooms to the seats to the giant scoreboard. They did it right.
All right, and the team this year is going to look a little different. A lot of new faces on the UND hockey team.
This is a North Dakota team that was the #1 team in the country for each of the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They've lost 15 of those players, many of whom are playing in the NHL now. So it's a new group of guys, but they're still ranked in the top 10 to start the season. They'll still be a factor come March, come April, come national tournament time.
All right, looking forward to another great season at the Ralph.
Yeah,
all
we're
right,
excited.
Thanks a lot, Alex Heinert.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Build Your Base with Beef Sports Nutrition and Training Program.